Hey everyone, I'm Reagan Weiss along with
Joey Deeb, co-founders
of The Hub.
I'd just like to start off by prefacing this by saying it's not just us. It's all of our core members of this group that made this. We have a lot of people that have worked hard, put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. Can't mention all of them because there's so many, but we love you all.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for every single one of you, and you know who you are, to be involved with this. And a lot of people are asking, why? Why The Hub? Let me tell you why The Hub. The Hub is a place that not just business owners are going to collaborate. It's where our community members are going to collaborate, where ideas are bounced off of one another. We just want to help people. We want to be there. We want to unify not just our businesses, but we want to unify our community. We don't want to hear about the negativity. We don't want to hear. There are so many other places out there that you can hear about the negativity in our community, and this will not be the place.
Our group can be a basis for so many different resources for so many different trades and industries. It's not just isolated to one specific trade or construction or cleaning or any of that. Everybody can come to the Hub to get actual references from real people using these business and utilizing them to see what kind of experiences they've had.
Now, the key word is collaboration, right? And you see that a lot lately, like collaboration. Well, it really is about collaboration. If I didn't know to collaborate with my friends behind the camera, Jordan Long, if I didn't know how to collaborate with all these other people, all these individuals involved, you wouldn't know about us because of those people. Strength are in numbers. So just like Joey said, it's every industry. We want to hear from how your experiences were with your restaurants. We want to hear your cleaning people, your contractors, your roofing companies. I mean, every industry out there, your masseuses, your salon. We want to hear real experiences from real people. And one more thing, very, very important, we're not going to allow networking. When we say networking, I just want to be very specific on this. And people say, oh, well, you're kind of pushing people away. No, we're not, because there are specific network groups that post and tag people without ever utilizing their business. And we don't want that. We want real experiences.
You're not forced to recommend somebody simply because you're in the same group.
Right.
And that's what we want. And it's not just about business either.
Right.
It's about charity and giving. We want a local hub for events to help people.
We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Look for Hub ads on the radio. Look for the Hub bus on the Pasco County Public Transportation System. Look in Facebook and please share this, and let's grow this positive thinking, forward momentum community. We love you, Tampa Bay.
Join the Hub and grow with us.
See you soon.
BetUS.com. If you guys are betting on the games, whether it's NFL, NCAA, of course, you're not going to do that now. Maybe basketball, not football, but of course, the NHL, NBA, go to BetUS.com. You get a 125% sign-up bonus. And also, if you use this code right here, the promo code of TSW22, which, by the way, stands for the sports web, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US, and put in that promo code TSW22, and I would really appreciate that.
I've had 27 beers spilled on me. Make that 28.
I've only got one place to go before the game.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS.com and get the best bonuses in the industry.
Hey, Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
Merry Christmas. Say, I love football. Say this. Say Tampa. Bay. Bay. Tampa. Tampa. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. Say Tampa. Bay. Bay. Oh my God, she's so smart and she's so precious.
guys? What's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television live here on I Love St. Pete, the hub, and Amped Up Sports. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about live here on this Monday night. How do we start off this show? Let's get to it. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show, Fan Stream Sports, Lightning Vision, longtime television personality here in the Tampa Bay area, will be getting on with us, talking about the Brady situation, Gronk, all the Lightning and Rays news that you want. And then at 9:30, we'll have the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty on at 9:30. And then, of course, as always, your phone calls, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So if you have a question for JP Peterson, get up on the phone line, get on the phone line, leave your comments in there, fully interactive. Don't be scared. We'll read your comments. Somebody told me the other night, hey, listen, I don't think you're going to shout me out. I shout everybody out. You know why? Because every fan here on the Sports Web is a superstar, and I really feel like this guy's show he does every day from 10 to 12 is like that because it gets me through my day. I'm not going to lie. I start off the day. I need sports talk, not anything else. I work on sales, on the phone. So I need something to calm my nerves, and this guy does it. Let's go ahead and get his intro on. Here we go. All right, there you go. JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show right there. Lightning Vision. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. And like I said, you do a great job with your show every day, and it does get me through my day. Welcome to the Sports Web here live.
Man, that's a hell of an introduction there, brother. I really appreciate that. I'm glad I can provide some fun for your day. I don't know if I calm you down, I may not be doing my show right, man. I got to hype you up. I got to get you hyped. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, I'm hyped up. Absolutely. We're on Monday night here, of course, and talking about this Tom Brady situation. I mean, what do you make of it? More rumors coming out. Now we hear the Dolphins were going to make him a minority owner, which goes back to the Mike Florio report from Pro Football Talk. And then you hear the reason why I got held up is because of the Brian Flores situation. I mean, all of it, not only he was going to be a minority owner, they were going to get Sean Payton. And then on top of that, eventually he was going to come out of retirement for the Dolphins. What do you make of this crazy situation?
Listen, Florio's been talking about this for how long? Trying to make this Miami thing work. This seems to me more like him trying to bring some credibility to his story and all the stuff that he's been posting. I just don't think it has much legs, to be quite honest. And listen, that may have been Stephen Ross's plan. Listen, I got lots of plans. You know, I want to build the Giza pyramid again. You know, right outside of Tampa and charge money. But I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, seriously, either he's incredibly arrogant or just an idiot. One of the two. Oh yeah, here we go. We're going to get Brady from the Bucks. Oh, you have to trade for him. Remember that? Yeah, whatever. We're going to get Sean Payton from the Saints. You know, you got to trade for him too. Yeah, whatever. We'll do it. And then we're going to get Brady to want to come to Miami and this team we have here. And then I'm going to tamper with Brady and get him on the yacht with Flores. I mean. What's this guy thinking? I mean, like everybody wants to come play for Stephen Ross. I don't get that. I don't think that's really a thing. And the irony of the whole thing is Brian Flores' lawsuit screws the whole thing up. I mean, how? I mean, it makes zero sense to me. Now, would Tom Brady be interested in something like that? He's building his forever home in Miami, be part owner of the Dolphins. Yeah, I think he might be interested. And I see the connection with Stephen Ross. But, you know, it's kind of like the Sister City thing. It may be a great idea to some. To Stu Sternberg was a great idea. But to nobody else, you know, Stephen Ross, hey, sounds like a great idea. We'll get Sean Payton. We'll get Tom Brady. Hell, let's bring Walter Payton back from the dead. You know, and maybe that'll work too. I mean, and Florio's just going to throw that up. I mean, okay, great. Maybe they talked about it. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So what is the freaking point? So Stephen Ross had a plan. Okay. Good job, Stephen. Now you got a minority head coach.
Right.
Who's whiter than me. I mean, I don't, whatever. I mean, it just seems completely ridiculous on its face. And if Buck fans want to get up in arms about, did Tom Brady really do this? And he's disloyal? Look, I mean, loyalty in the NFL, really? Did the teams have loyalty when guys get injured? Do the owners have loyalty? Do the players have loyalty? No. It's where's the best situation for me? Bottom line is he's coming back to Tampa Bay. He's playing for the Bucs. He's not getting traded to the Dolphins now. That's not freaking happening. If Florio wants to throw that out there, it's not happening. He's playing for the Bucs. End of freaking story.
Thank you very much. And I agree with you on that. Now, where do you lie on this friction thing? Because a lot of people say, well, Brady came back because he went over to England, talked to the Glazers. You hear the Glazers weren't there now. You're also hear that, BA, Tom Brady have a mutual respect for each other. Tom Brady was at the press conference. I mean, this friction thing, has this been blown out of proportion in your opinion?
Yes. I wrote an article on fanstreamsports.com and put it up on my Twitter and everything. You can access it there. I talked to Joel Glazer, talked to Jason Light at the press conference, talked to Bruce Arians, talked to some other sources, very well placed. And I kind of wrapped it all up in that article. Was there friction? Yeah, of course. I mean, you got shut out by the Saints. You don't think there's friction in the offensive room? Sure. You played like crap in the first 3 quarters against the Rams in the playoffs. You don't think there was some disappointment into how the offense was running? Now, most of that was because of see this? Tally wants in.
Hey, Tally.
Tally the Wonder Dog.
Tally's got to meet Alexander. I got to bring my dog.
Tally wants in. Right. She's got her ball. She's ready.
Love it.
No more. Not right now. Take a break. Take a break, sweetie. All right. No, so I was there some friction? Yeah, I think there was some friction. There's friction everywhere. And if there's not friction when you're getting shut out by the Saints, then you got a problem. Was Tom Brady, does he hate Bruce Arians? No. Did he and Leftwich put the game plans together mostly? Yes, they did. This is how it's worked. He handed this over to Leftwich a long time ago. Oh my God! Brett Phillips is in pitching right now. It's 9-1 in the 8th. He just gave up a warning track out. So I'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
This is the best part of the show. Brett Phillips is pitching.
Right. There you go. Exactly. It's got.
I love that. We have to talk about that guy when we get done with this.
Oh, absolutely. We will.
So I think there was some friction, but I think it's healthy friction. It's the same thing that happens in every NFL team everywhere. And I think, basically this has become a Leftwich and Brady offense. Mm-hmm. So is there a lot for Arians to do? Probably not. Did Bruce kind of look at the whole thing and think, maybe I'm kind of more getting in the way that I'm being a critical part of this? Maybe. But I don't think that Brady pushed Arians out. I don't think that was the case at all. Do I think that Brady may have, in conversations with the Glazers, said, I think it would run smoother if it was just Leftwich and I doing it, since it's pretty much my offense anyway. Yeah, that may have been expressed, but I don't think in any way that Brady forced him out. Yes, I was at the Super Bowl. I heard all the rumors that this stuff was going on, and there was some friction. And again, I think there was truth to it, but I do think it got blown out of proportion. And I do think in the end that there was a meeting of the minds. I think Bruce looked at this whole situation once they got Brady back into the fold, once they got the free agents back. I think he looked at the entire situation and said, do I really need to be the head coach here? And do I want to hand Bowles the keys to a Ferrari now or a Pinto next year? And I do think that, Bruce he's walked the walk. This has not been some, virtue signaling like you see so many people doing. Mm-hmm. That he's lived it. He's hired female coaches. He's hired black coordinators. He wanted to open doors for these guys. He knows Byron Leftwich is going to get a head coaching job. So why not hand the keys to Todd Bowles, who's probably wasn't going to get a second shot? He's interviewed a lot and hasn't had any takers. So this is a guy living out his legacy. And a lot of people, they don't want to buy it. They want to believe the conspiracy theories, and for a while I was kind of seeing, is this Brady really forcing him out? I don't think that anymore. And talking to all the principals, I think this was really a very magnanimous thing that Bruce Arians did. He looked around and kind of said, look, I've already handed over the keys to the offense and the defense. I'm more a kind of a CEO ceremonial thing here. If I'm going to walk the walk, I'm going to hand Todd Bowles the keys now. And I think that's what he did. And it's hard for a lot of people to believe that in this day and age that someone would do something that magnanimous, but that's who Bruce Arians is. I believe that in my heart. I know the guy personally. I think he looked around and said, this is a win-win for everybody. I go upstairs. I could still be part of this football team. I could still, enjoy the wins and losses. I can, maybe mentor Kyle Trask into becoming the next quarterback. Who better to do that than the quarterback whisperer? This is a win-win all the way around. And I think that's how it went down. Did the Glazers offer Tom Brady a piece of Man United? I do know this. A little inside scoop here.
Okay.
They have a secure virtual meeting room at Old Trafford and at One Buck Place. It's like this ultra technology thing that they have. They can go secure anywhere in the world and do these meetings. And the Glazers didn't have to be there to meet with Tom, but maybe they wanted him to experience the Old Trafford Man United magic. Talk to Ronaldo and say, hey, screw a piece of the Dolphins, bro. You want a piece of Man United? You want a premier team? You want to be over a Premier League team? That's small potatoes, and it is. Miami Dolphins compared to Man United, small potatoes. Here's a guy with a global brand in Tom Brady, right? Mm-hmm. Why not get him over there, see what it's all about, take your boys over there. We got you set up. Go down on the field and talk to Ronaldo. You want to come back with the Bucks, get a piece of Man United? Now, I don't know that for fact. I'm just, if I were the Glazers and I have this much money at stake and you know how much Tom Brady is worth for another season, are you freaking kidding me?
Sure.
Of course they're going to do that.
Absolutely.
Did they do it? I don't know for a fact, but I don't think you have to be an idiot to figure out what happened there.
And we're talking with JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show, stream daily here from 10 to 12 on Facebook and YouTube. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Going back to it, if you're Brady, do you want a piece of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or do you want the god-awful organization in the Miami Dolphins? And again, he lives down in Miami, but this Tampa Bay team, him being a minority owner right now, the way Tampa Bay is going, I mean, why not have that? And then on top of it, did you like the Todd Bowles hiring or should they have went with the Byron Leftwich?
This is a very interesting question. I think that the organization certainly thinks that it's Todd Bowles is a better choice. Arians believes that. I think Jason Light believes that. He's been a head coach before. If you look at the history of head coaches, they do a better job second time around. They learn a lot. I think he's already got great relationships with these players, especially on the defensive side and the offensive side as well. They know him. Obviously, they're familiar with him. And in what wins in the NFL? Continuity wins. Continuity wins. When you have the same coordinators, the same coaches, the same quarterback, you win. That has been proven in the NFL. So why go? Even with Byron Leftwich, we all know that I think he's going to get a job somewhere. Right. But I think with Bowles, you have someone who's older, who's more experienced, who's obviously been a head coach. I think it's a safer bet when you have a team like this. So I think it was the right choice. Now, listen, Todd Bowles has got a lot to prove. What he did in New York was, and I know he had a horrible GM there. It wasn't a great situation. Sure. But, I mean, he won 10 games and then won, 4, 3, and 4? That's bad football. That's a lot of bad football. You can have bad players, but that's a lot of bad football. He's got to be better. He's got to show us something. And I think this season with Brady and everything in place, this team has an awesome opportunity to win the NFC, go to the Super Bowl, perhaps win another Super Bowl. I think they're as good as anybody in the league on paper. Now you got to go get it done. And I think Todd Bowles does have a lot to prove. But I think in the grand scheme of things, going out to find somebody from the outside, that's a bad idea. I just think that this is a win-win for everybody, and it's as good as Bucks could have hoped for. I mean, look, we were staring at a rebuild right in the face.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about Blaine Gabbert, Kyle Trask, no Ryan Jensen, probably no CD3. It would have been hard to get Chris Godwin to come back, not knowing who the quarterback's going to be, or the quarterback's going to be Blaine Gabbert. I don't think he's signing a long-term deal for that. So it was total rebuild mode. So who cares how it happened? And honestly, keep the continuity. This is the best Bucs fans could hope for, and I think it's hell. You're the favorites in the NFC, for Christ's sake.
As they should
What
be.
did you want? How many years have the Bucs gone into the season like that?
You barely ever
Last year?
like that. No, I mean maybe last year because you brought everybody back.
Right.
But in your opinion, do you feel like this team could actually be better than last year?
Yeah.
Of course, I think it comes down to youth. I mean, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, I'm not sure if they're going to sign a JPP. I think they may get back a Sue, but you have number 27 there. You have picks, so you can definitely get better defensively. Do you feel like this team could actually be better but have less wins because the schedule is so much tougher this year?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going, well, how many more wins are they going to have? I don't think that's really appropriate because this schedule is so much more difficult than last year's schedule. The point is, can you win the division? Yes. Can you get into the playoffs and get home games? Yes. That's what's important. And then it's, how do you play in the playoffs? I think from a personnel standpoint, you've got all the key guys back. I think, losing Marpet was tough, but, Shaq Mason, it may be a better player, just quite honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a huge drop-off there. Aaron Stinney goes in where Kappa was. When they went through the playoffs, he filled in tremendously well. So I don't see a huge drop-off on the offensive line at all. Defensively, I think they can be better. JPP played a lot of snaps last year and not very well. He couldn't set the edge for the run. He was hurt. I mean, I love that dude. He's a gamer forever. I just love everything about JPP, but Father Time is Father Time, and he was just too beat up to play last year. I don't think he's coming back, and I think it's Tryon's time. It's time for him to step up. We got a whole draft. I think they can get better in the draft. They can add 2 or 3 pieces in the draft and get some players that could come in and play. I think Logan Ryan is a huge. I don't want to say upgrade, but he's a playmaker, and that guy's. I think he's. And then they just signed Keanu Neal, who, and watching him play in his rookie season at Atlanta, I thought, oh my God, this guy is going to be a Pro Bowler every single year. Obviously, he's gone through some injuries, but I think he's a very good piece that Todd Bowles can use. I think defensively they can be better. Antoine Winfield's going to be a year older. Mike Edwards is a playmaker. I like him. They're probably not done adding there. I think let's be honest, Devin White can play a lot better than he played last year.
Oh, yeah.
That can make you better right there.
Sure.
Vita Vea, they still have Vita Vea. Anthony Nelson getting better. They brought back Golston, which I think was huge. Yeah, I think this defense can be better. Absolutely, 100% they can be better.
I got to read you something here. This is from Albert Breer. He says, what's fascinating to me about the position the Bucs are in now is how, for the first time, they're going to be leaning on players they drafted since acquiring Tom Brady to take elevated roles as a result of natural attrition. Among that smattering of guys of right tackle Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield Jr., wide receivers Tyler Johnson, Jalen Darden, and outside linebacker Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Here's where national media has missed it. First and foremost, Tristan Wirfs, ever since he's been drafted 13th overall, he has been the best offensive lineman, not only on this line itself, but in the National Football League, something like 2 sacks the last 2 years. Antoine Winfield Jr. has made plays. These players have elevated the Bucs already. What is he talking about? And then you got Tyler Johnson. 3rd and 15 against New Orleans in the divisional playoff matchup. And then on top of it, drawing a pass interference versus the Green Bay Packers. The only players at this point that you could say with this statement is Jalen Darden and Tryon-Shoyinka. What is Breer talking about at this point? Why do national media try to stir this up? This attrition comment makes me, I don't know, it just makes me want to have I don't even know what to say at this point.
Listen. I thought a couple weeks ago the narrative was, oh, the Bucs are too old. They were hurt last year, because they were too old. And I'm thinking about, well, who got hurt last year? Tristan Wirfs. Well, he's not old. I mean, That was the biggest injury we sustained. Chris Godwin, he's not old. The guys who got hurt were not old. So I don't know what the hell that's about. But now they're too young. Like they have going to lean on young guys. I think it's a natural attrition, but some of those guys may be improvements. I think Shoenka is going to be better than JPP was last year. Not a better overall player in his career. I mean, that would be quite a feat, but sure. I think he could be more productive because JPP was so banged up last year. I think they'll have a better pass rush, especially if they get Sue back. And they're probably going to draft the defensive tackle with the first pick. You know, maybe they give you somebody that comes in and can do something. I think maybe don't forget. I think Gronk is coming back, so you're going to have Gronk back as well. They may draft a tight end. So I think they've got the whole draft ahead of them. They still can bring in free agents after that, guys that just want to come win a ring. There's still some really good free agents out there. So, no, man, I think this team is loaded. They brought Gio back. I thought that was a good thing. They may draft a running back. There's a lot of good running backs in this draft. They could get somebody that's explosive and can come in here and make an impact. So, yeah, listen, you got Brady back. You got most of the core back. Now you could just add a few more pieces. You got a great coaching staff. This team is loaded. It's as good as any in the NFC.
Yeah, and after reading that comment, I want to be a mortician because I'm dead on this idea that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in deep trouble because they have a Tristan Wirfs or Antoine Winfield Jr., and they have to depend on them. By the way, national media, they have been depending on them.
That's such a dumbass. That's such a dumbass thing to say. Listen, that guy he knows his stuff. But it seems like every time national people start talking about the Bucs, they seem like they don't know squat.
Yes.
So I'm thinking maybe the stuff that they're telling me about the other teams is just as bad information. I mean, I don't know. I'm not covering these other teams, so I kind of take their word for it. But if people are dependent on Bucs news for that, that's so out there.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you know it. I know it. We're not national media. We're not getting paid thousands or millions of dollars to work for the National Football League. Sports Illustrated, you should have this covered. I mean, how do you not have it covered?
Tristan Wirfs is a Pro Bowler, for God's sakes.
Right. He's one of the best.
He's the best right tackle in football, according to most people, Pro Football Focus. I mean, I don't know what you're looking at.
All right, 27. Where do you see them going? And then how do you feel about this Gronk situation? Is he just not wanting to go to training camp at this point?
Yes, of course. He wants no part of training camp right now. Gronk's going to come back. I just think right now he's just, the other night I heard him, talking about, well, not him, but what a good, who was it that spent some time with? Ninkovich. Mm-hmm. Ninkovich said he spent some time at Gronk's house and he's like, hey, man, for the right price, he'll come back. Gronk wants to get paid. He's going to come back and break ribs and puncture a lung like he did last year. You're going to have to pay the man. So the Bucs are going to have to find a way to come up with $9 or $10 million for him. They can do it. They can restructure some other contracts. So I think Gronk's coming back. I don't think, but it won't be till probably right before training camp. He wants no part of the offseason.
No, it doesn't seem like it. All right, I'm going to go out to Dennis Phillips here, one of our good friends. And
I love Dennis.
He was talking about the Rays the other night. I want to get your comments on this because you were writing on the post. It was kind of controversial. But here's Dennis Phillips here live on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Here we go.
How to use analytics. They know how to get wins out of a place that you normally wouldn't think they would find them. But here's what I think really kills the Rays in terms of the perception in this market. I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think a lot of people love the names on the back of those jerseys. And I think when you're developing a generation of fans, you've got to have some guys that those fans look at, fall in love with, and want to keep on their team forever. And Evan Longoria was one of those players. Now, yes, when they traded him to San Francisco, did exactly what they thought he would do. He was getting older, he'd start to get hurt, his numbers would tail off, and they did. But I still think the problem is that you run into a situation where you've got these fans who love a certain player, and Stu never keeps him around because he's either a pitcher and he gets rid of him and gets other prospects for him, which they've got to do to get the wins. So what's more important, building a fan base with a love for a certain player or two, or getting the wins and losses with just a bunch of names that nobody knows? I don't know the answer, but to me, I think that's the biggest issue in this community is that you've got a team that does win, but if you have a bunch of players that nobody likes or knows much about, unless you're a fan, I think you really lose a lot of that loyalty factor. And then when they do get good, you're expecting them to get dumped like they always do. I think that, to me, is the problem more than anything. And I think if you had some of those players and Stu did decide to keep some of them, then maybe you would get a little more loyalty. But at the end of the day, Tampa Bay people, they don't like to drive. I mean,
that's the key.
They don't like to drive. And it's just Tampa for whatever reason. You look at the big cities, and it drives me crazy when the national media comes out and says the Rays do not support their team. That's a bunch of bull. The Rays do support their team. There's a big fan base. The TV ratings are always top 10, top 11. The radio ratings are too. The difference is the fans here are staying at home because they don't want to drive to the Trop to go to those games. If you put a stadium in Tampa, my gut is there would be a better turnout. When Rick Scott killed that bullet train idea earlier on when he first was governor, if there was a bullet train from Orlando to Tampa and there was a stadium on that route, they would sell out every single night. But there's no mass transit and people don't want to drive.
All right, so welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Your thoughts on those comments? He hit it right on the head, right?
Oh, spot on. Absolutely spot on. I'm sorry, Peter Blake. I'm having a hard time staying. Brett Phillips just made a diving catch as he's pitching now. He just made a diving catch right up against the dugout on a pop fly foul ball, ran over there, slid, and caught the ball. Not only did he that, but like over the first batters, Pache or Pash, whatever his name is, Calvin Pash for the A's, hit the ball to the wall, the warning track. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. I know people might be tuning away, but I just can't.
No, they're not tuning away because you're watching the Rays right now. Of course, you'll
see the highlights later. It's unbelievable,
right? Well,
and so he flied out to the warning track, right? As he coming across the diamond to go back into the third base dugout, Phillips goes, "Yo, Calvin, hit the weight room, pal. Hit the weight room with that warning track power."
That's great.
This guy is a great. And listen, this goes to right what Dennis Phillips is saying. This guy. I hate to say this, but I don't think Brett Phillips is going to be here the whole season, unfortunately, because he might get squeezed out by some of the other guys. I love the dude, man. He's he was running the bases the other day with the kids on Sunday. But this is exactly what Dennis is talking about. This is a guy that should be a homegrown kid. He gives you, look, I understand he's not the greatest player in the world, but he does so many different things for you, including, eating up a couple of innings here tonight in a game that you're going to lose, that you've just kind of thrown in the white towel early on with Mazza. Right. So yeah, it's guys like this and guys like Austin Meadows and other players. And look, I understand why you traded Austin Meadows to get Josh Lowe up here. I get it. But you got to get a major league piece back for him. Itzhak Paredes is a nice prospect, but you give away an all-star that hits 30 bombs and 100 RBIs. You got to get a major league player back in return. The reason they didn't is because Neander's hands are tied. He's not allowed to add significant salary. So what's left? People are not going to trade good young players in that situation. Oh no, Phillips just gave up a grand slam.
Oh no!
Well,
here's
2 outs.
Yes.
Bases loaded, and he just gives up the granny.
Yikes!
Oh,
all right,
my God!
I want to throw this statistic out at you because we're of like minds here. Since 1990, JP, the Florida Marlins are the only team to win the World Series and not have a payroll ranked 16 or better. The Marlins are ranked 25th in the league in 2003. The Rays right now are 78 million. People are like, oh my God, the Rays are at 78 million. What's the Major League Baseball average? Isn't it something like 144 million? And
144. That's the average.
Yes. Never.
No, and listen, if people want to talk about, we tried to get Freddie Freeman. That's bullshit. You didn't try. And did you really? Or did you know the Dodgers were always going to outbid you? And did you know that Freddie Freeman really didn't want to play in the Trop because no position players want to come play in the Trop? Nobody. The lighting is awful. The catwalks, the outfield is terrible for their knees and their legs. No, it's not a hitter's park. Nobody wants to come play here. I'm sorry. It's a great team and a fun team to play for, But these big time free agents, when they have options like the Dodgers and the Braves and other places to go with real stadiums, in a great fan bases that show up. We have a great fan base, but our stadium situation sucks. I'm sorry, it just sucks.
Right.
And these guys don't want to come play here. And that's part of it. We should be in a new stadium right now. If we had a real owner who gave a shit about it, we'd be we'd be playing these games in Ybor City with that translucent dome. I love that thing. That was a great idea, great spot, great everything. It was a lot cheaper 4 years ago, by the way. We should have been moving into that thing this week, but no, because of one cheap guy. He doesn't want to do it. And he doesn't want to spend any money, not even on a stadium that he can make money with. He wants guaranteed return. And there'll be a little risk getting a new stadium. I think very little. It's just awful. The dude is awful. And Stennis is right on point. It's a terrible location for midweek games. I think they had 10,000 tonight. It's never going to work. And these people keep talking. And even Stu Sternberg this weekend. Tell me what sense this makes, Peter.
Okay.
Last week, Brian Auld and Matt Silverman went on 620 because they won't come on my show.
Right.
And get real tough questions. Although those guys gave them some tough questions, but they didn't follow up like they should have.
Right.
They don't talk about the lawsuit. They don't talk about the $500 million. They don't talk about the fact that they won't pay half for the stadium. I would nail them down on these questions. And both of them said, Tampa is where we need to be. That's the best place for our business. And then Stu comes out on Saturdays and says, what? We're looking at both sides of the bay. What is that?
Because he wants the redevelopment fee. Your show has said that. I've said that numerous years.
He's going to get the money anyway.
Right, but that's the thing. He doesn't deserve that money. If you're going out of St. Pete and you're screaming out of St. Pete, you shouldn't get any money at all. No redevelopment. If you're a multi-millionaire, does it make any sense to talk about the fan base like he has the last 10 years? No business out there that does that. They wouldn't be in business, JP.
No. And not only that, he sits there and tells us this Tampa Bay is not a viable market, sends Brian Auld out to all the Rotary clubs to say Tampa Bay is not a viable market for a full season. And now when it's done, now they're saying, oh, yeah, we love Tampa Bay. It's a very viable market. You can't believe anything that comes out of their mouth. It's total contradictions.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. And so why is he playing both sides of the bay now to get a better deal in Hillsborough when he knows that's where he's going to be? And I know it's a business, but at some point, you've made $1 billion off your $200 million investment. Okay, your partners are suing you because you've defrauded them, and it's still not enough for this dude. You got $500 million in the bank, allegedly, from this lawsuit that you moved into a different company that you own by yourself, which is why you're getting sued. You have all this money, and you still don't take a payroll over $80 million. And don't sit there and tell me this is a big payroll, a significant payroll, when it's, $60, $70 million below the average.
Right.
It's much smaller markets pay a lot more money. And here the Times doesn't even mention any of that in context in the story. It's like, it's a franchise record payroll, like it's some big deal. No. The dude, it's over $300 million in revenue every year, and it's going up. He has a $70, $80 million payroll. How much money is he banking? A ton of money.
He's hiding under his mattress for a rainy day, but the problem is you have a dome, so there is no rain at this point. He should be making a rain for the Tampa Bay Rays, and I try to tell fans this all the time. It's not about spending $200 million, JP. It's about spending to the Major League Baseball average. It's about making those necessary trades at the deadline, and we've seen it over and over again. How many years have the Rays been in not only division contention, but had to make a trade for Cliff Lee or Roy Holiday, somebody like that, and they haven't done it? They basically said, you know what, we're going to go with what we have. That doesn't work. You have to be aggressive. In this area, the bar has been set. You work for the Tampa Bay Lightning. You don't see Jeff Vinik, alienating himself to fans. No. He's from the North. You don't see the Glazers saying, you know what, we're going to save money this year. We got Tom Brady. No, you're going all in. That's what the Rays should do, and they don't do it any year that they've been in existence. Never do it.
And people say, well, Austin Meadows wasn't a salary dump, and it wasn't, it was $4 million this year, but it's going to be what? It's going to be $8 million next year, and then $12 million the year after that. So that's the money that they're saving with Josh Lowe, and they get a prospect instead of a major league, because then they can bring the prospect up and he can make the minimum salary for 3 years and be productive instead of going and getting a major league pitcher right now who you could put into your rotation. By the way, Patino oblique, we lose another starter.
For Blake Snell, by the way. I mean, just saying Blake Snell, Charlie Morton.
Right. I mean, those guys, and all these guys, if you wanted to have, why did you not get a major league pitcher back? Because you don't want to spend the money.
Right.
That's it. People are like, oh, well, they were going to spend it on Freddie Freeman. No, they weren't.
No.
You suckers.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yes.
Until he takes the payroll to $100 million. And look, he said they have payroll flexibility. All right. At the deadline, go get me a pitcher that makes $25 million a year that you can plug in game one of a playoff series that's going to be a stopper. Go get a Garrett Cole. Go get one of those guys that can win a series by themselves. And will they do it? Until they do it, then I'm not going to say that they're willing to spend money, because they're not.
No, they're not. Real quick, I know you got to run. I appreciate the time as always, Mr. JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. Tampa Bay Lightning, 10 games left. Any worries? Are they going to work this stuff out or what?
Look, I don't have any worries about this team, and I'm not saying they're going to win the third Stanley Cup. That would be unbelievable. I mean, in the salary cap era, back-to-back has not even been done, except for Pittsburgh. 3 times in a row is just ridiculous to even ask for it. These guys have played 30, 40 games than most of these other teams in the last 2 years. It takes a toll on them, and I think they just got that road trip, I think, hurt them. I think the inactivity in February hurt them. They've got new guys that they're trying to work in. I think Vasilevsky is tired. I think our Russian players are probably distracted with all the bull crap that's going on in Russia and Ukraine. Hell, they may have families in Ukraine. We don't know what they're dealing with. How the hell do you play hockey when that situation's going on?
Right.
So I think there's a lot of things that are, kind of distracting this club right now, or not letting them play to their best. But I think as we get closer to the playoffs, that they get more focused in. The new guys, Hagel and Paul, get them on the lines where they're working best. They're still trying to figure that part out. Get Vasilevsky some rest, and then go into the playoffs and let's see what happens. I mean, this East is a beast this year. All 8 of these teams can win the East and win the Cup. Every single one of them. I've never been able to say that before. From Washington to Carolina to Florida, I think anybody can win it. And it's going to be 3 very tough rounds just to get to the Stanley Cup final. And then you get to play Colorado, Calgary, who, there's a lot of good teams in the West as well. So, I mean, are they going to win another cup? Chances are no. Are they still a great team that has a chance? Absolutely. And they've got playoff experience. They still have the best goalie in the world. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. It's very unlikely that they could do 3 in a row, but they're as good as any team in the league when they get to the playoffs. I'll say that. I don't think there's any team out there that's just head and shoulders above everybody else.
Well, I tell you right now that Tally the Wonder Dog is in the
Yes, he just made another.
Yes.
What's up, girl?
What's going on, Tally? Got to get Alexander a meeting. There. JP, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Yeah, every morning from 10 to 12, we are live on FanStream Sports, which you can see us on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. We're also live on Twitter. We're live on my Facebook, JP Peterson. Just Google the show and you can find it live on many. We also have an app that you download. It's just dedicated to the show. No other bullshit on it. We don't keep your information or anything. It's just for listening to the show. There's a podcast feature on it. You can go back and listen to the show at any time. Just hit the app. It will pop up right from the beginning if you want to listen midday or afternoon drive or whenever. It's always there for you. We're 2 hours a day. We're the only local 2 hour a day Tampa Bay super centric in the morning. Everything you need to get your day started just like you do every day. So check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it makes my day that much better. JP Peterson, thanks a lot for your time here on the Sports Web.
Peter, you do a great job. Love the Sports Web. Love you guys. You guys are kicking ass. I'm glad there's an alternative to sports radio in this town, or we'd all be going crazy.
Look, I always say, look, you can have chocolate or vanilla. I'm a little bit Rocky Road, and you're kind of the same thing, my friend. We'll see you soon, all right?
All right, brother. We'll see you. Thanks.
All right, there you go. JP Peterson right there of the JP Peterson Show. I see Mr. Leo Haggerty of Amped Up Sports as we were just hanging out at Raymond James Stadium, and I was about to lose my mind up in here. live here on the hub on I Love St. Pete, and of course, Amped Up. Let's go ahead and read these comments, and then we'll get out to the legend himself. Gronk is overrated. You're starting off early. Let's go out to Troy Polamalu. This is America's show. Okay, I like that a lot. Actually, I'll go with the yes. Yes! Thank you very much. Roger Shue says, what's up, Pete? What's going on? Christopher Cole, hey, what's up, everyone? Harry Berg, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252. Chicago Sports. Florio's opinions are like, yes. Peter, everyone has one. Florio is clueless and irrelevant. I like that a lot, so I will fire the cannons. Let's go out to Steve. Thank you very much for tuning in. Management and players are only loyal to the almighty dollar, sir. Roger Shue says, hit the thumbs up and share the stream. Absolutely. Rays suck. This is what you get for that. At least tonight they weren't very good, but they look like they're going to be 3-1. Where's Harry? He's on this stream here. Bring back Devil Rays. Stop it. You're being silly. Christopher Cole says, let's hope Bowles is the Bucks coach for almost or for the next 10 to 15 years. We shall see. Let's go out to Troy Polamalu. You know what's funny? Let's get this straight. Leftwich was so bad that the Buccaneers decided to hire their defensive coordinator as a head coach instead of their offensive coordinator. Roger Shue says, I agree. Troy, Reginald Gray says, Bucks need a DT pass rush help. Agree with you at 27. If White is there, possibly a Jordan Davis, or later on, I think that has to be their pick, especially with not signing Sue. And even if you do sign Sue, he's up there in age, even though he's highly productive. I think you still have to address it. Bucks need DT, tight end, and cornerback. I'll be back, says Roger Shue. Troy Polamalu, okay, Roger. Take your time. Christopher says Jones or Wyatt. Roger says I'm back. Good stuff. Troy Polamalu, okay, Roger, we missed you. Roger again. Pete, your thoughts on the Masters this weekend? I watched a little bit of it. I think the story was Tiger Woods, of course, even if he didn't finish off, just him being out there with the injury that he went through is just an amazing story in itself. Raise up. I'm not reading that. Trop is, I'm not reading that. Troy Polamalu, Trop Kenneth Field is one of the greatest masterpieces man created. Did I say masterpiece? I meant dump. Ron says, I think the Rays won't last here until this idiot sells the team at some point. I'll actually fire the cannons for that. Let's go out to Roger Shue. Vinnick needs to buy the Rays. Agree, absolutely. Probably one of the best comments you've ever made. Yes! 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 You get 3 for that. Ron says, Bucks DT and DE. Troy says, read our comments. Stop neglecting us. I'm reading them right now. Rays are boring, boring, boring. Nobody cares. And you care because you're here. Troy Polamalu says, hopefully our Governor DeSantis can move the Rays out of Florida. Just a moronic comment by you. Let's see here. Sometimes when I gotta take a dump, I go to Tropicana Field. Actually, you know what? That's what you get for that comment. Pete, long time. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Jimmy. Thanks a lot for tuning in. What's up, says Brandon Spikes. What's going on? Christopher Cole. If Vazzy plays like a beast, then we will win the cup. And Troy Polamalu. Bowles said Vita Vea will be getting at least 7 catches per game on offense. Once again, fake news. Ron says, how about them Buccaneers, baby? Absolutely.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Let's go out to this guy right here. Let's get his intro on. He's been patiently waiting here. The legend himself. Here we go. Former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty. It feels like we just saw each other yesterday. Oh, we did 2 days ago, and what a day it was. Welcome back to the Evolution. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Peter, I'm doing fabulous. And again, better than the Rays. Again, another starting pitcher goes down. I'm sitting there looking, wait a second, he pitched 2/3 of an inning, nothing happened, he got hurt.
Yeah.
So again, here we got a problem. Peter, we're going to see that from all the teams because they didn't have the proper spring training, especially with the pitchers, starting pitchers. They're going to be really, you're going to have to keep an eye on them. To see them go more than 70, 80 pitches, I don't see it.
And it kind of works into the Rays' favor in the first place because they traditionally use a lot of their bullpen. So, Patino, you wonder how long. I mean, oblique injury, could it be a month? I mean, I know you're not a doctor, but what are you thinking here? Do you even risk it at this point because he's one of your young pitchers for the future?
Well, hold on. Let me get my surgical gown on here and play doctor. And Peter, I agree. You got to be really careful, especially with the Rays, because their modus operandi, SAT word for the night.
Very nice. I like that.
Is pitching and defense. They want to make sure they have that. And if it means sitting a pitcher for an extra week or two, just say, Peter, again, can you win the World Series in the first month of the season? No. Can you lose it? Yes. Be very careful as to how you use your players right now, because you just want to get out of April and May and get into June with again, if you're 500 or better, that's great, because in the AL East, they're just going to play knockdown, drag out, king of the hill.
They really are. And I tell you right now, Corey Kluber yesterday, 87 pitches, 4.5 innings, 5 Ks, 4 walks, but 3 hits. Very encouraging to see. And that was a big move in the offseason. I'll give credit to where credit is due. I like that move of Kluber. Do you think he can solidify that rotation with his veteran presence?
Boy, you hope so, Peter, because that's why he's there. And again, we're talking about a team that won 100 games without Blake Snell, Charlie Morton, and for the most part, Tyler Glasnow. And still won 100 games. All they want to get out of their starting pitchers is 6 innings. If they get 6 innings and turn it over to that bullpen, and again, you remember last year when they're having the beanball wars, and Cash came out and told the umpire, told the other manager, hey, I got a lot of guys that can throw at 98. You don't want to get involved in this. And he does. He has a lot of guys, when they're healthy, can bring it up there in a hurry.
All right. I was talking to JB before. We got Leo Haggerty, the legend himself.
Yeah, how do you expect me to follow him? I mean, dear Lord. Hey, wait a second. If you're Rocky Road, then I am definitely Pistachio.
Well, we are Amped Up Sports. We're together on this, the Sports Web, and you're Leo's midnight musings, if you will. I think it's memo that you do. I mean, you go live more than I do now. I mean, it's crazy. Ever since you discovered that you have a camera or you have a cell phone and you have headphones, you're just a crazy wild man right now, Leo. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And Peter, what we're doing here, thank you for giving me the little intro there to Amped Up Sports. Here's the plan. Peter does Peter's perspective on Thursday. Rob, or hopefully, is not on the IR.
Oh my God.
Peter, I'll share that with you tonight, later, or tomorrow. What happened?
Oh,
you're gonna laugh because you can't help but laughing. But it's not a pretty picture.
No,
he does Game On Wednesday, and then I take over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with my daily memos, and we also post at midnight or later, depending upon how this season goes and how the night goes. We do a local update with the Magic, the Lightning, the Bulls, the Bucks, and the Rays. Then we do a national one with the NBA, the NHL, NCAA, NFL, and MLB. So we're covering everything on a daily basis. So if you want to get what's happening, and people are asking, why do you do it at midnight? Well, guess what? Most people are still up there, and a lot of these games don't end, especially the West Coast ones like the Giants and the Dodgers. You got Calgary, and you got Golden State. Yeah, and Peter, we got to talk about the Lakers. What the heck they're doing out there.
I'll tell you what, let's get to that in a moment. I want to get your thoughts on the Brady situation. New reports have surfaced that, basically Miami, the week of the Super Bowl, was about to make him a minority owner. And then eventually he was going to come out and play quarterback, and the Dolphins were going to work out a trade with the Bucks, and Sean Payton was going to be the coach. I mean, what do you make of all this nonsense at this juncture?
Peter, I don't know if you call it nonsense because there's too many dots that you can connect here.
Right.
Again, I think Brady was planning on the Bucs saying, "Okay, we'll let you go, Tom. Thanks for the Super Bowl." No, and when Arians came out and said that's bad business, I said, "Okay, that ends any of that thought." San Francisco, who I think was in the running as well, and Miami, they're going to have to part with some draft choices. You want Tom Brady? Let's see. Wait a second. Deshaun Watson, 2 number ones. Brady's going to he's going to get 3. That's just the way of the world. So, and again, Peter, everybody talks about, well, there was no animosity between Brady and Arians. I don't think you can call it animosity. I think what Brady saw was an opportunity to get the guy he wanted in as head coach and keep the offensive coordinator he wanted. And again, I don't think you ever had the conversation with Tom Brady. He said, "Hey, I only come back if Bruce Arians is out." But I got a feeling as this conversation moved on of Brady coming back, it became a quid pro quo. Another SAT thing.
Wow, you're just full of it tonight.
Yeah, and basically for you non-Latin scholars, that means this for that. Okay, I'll come back if you do this. And the Bucs came, okay, if we do this, you're going to do what now? Okay, and it got quid pro quo. And again, Arians is 70 years old. Guess when Brett Auerbach retired? 48.
Right.
A lot of these guys don't coach into their 70s. Yeah, we're going to see Bill Belichick in their 70s. The only group you see who are older are offensive line coaches. You know why that's, Peter? You can't find them. And people just try to keep them. I mean, you go to a Bucs practice and you see this little old guy sitting on the basically, I guess it's the not the water cooler, but it's the ice chest.
Right.
And that's one of the Bucs coaches. Tom's out there, and he's been there forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's, to me, at the end of the day, you want to solve all this controversy, if you will, and all these rumors of him going to Miami next year and possibly San Francisco, which I don't think is going to happen. If you're Jason Light, can you sign him to an extension? Do you think the Bucs are exploring that possibility, not only to free up cap, but to extend him and put out, once again, all these rumors?
Peter, I think Tom Brady wants no parts of an extension. I think he wants to come in. He was a free agent once, chose Tampa Bay. I think now he's going to be 45 years old, Peter. He wants to go one more place where he thinks he may be able to win another ring. Because, Peter, think about this. Winning a ring as a quarterback solidifies your chances of getting into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Winning 2, now, again, you got Eli Manning that's won 2, and people are saying, he doesn't have a chance. Like, hey, if you're going by what people are judging on these voting committees, 2 Super Bowl rings carries a lot of weight. Could you imagine Tom Brady having 3 Super Bowl rings from 3 different teams? Forget about the others with the Patriots.
Right.
That would be something you will never see happen again.
And we're on with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. We had to report on this, so we didn't report on it, but reports came out this weekend. 24-year-old former first-round pick of the Washington Commanders, Dwayne Haskins, was killed in a car accident. A dump truck struck a man, and that would be Haskins at 6:37 a.m. He was just walking on the highway. The problem is the insensitivity that was shown by an Adam Schefter and, of course, a Gil Brandt, who, to me is the grandfather, the godfather of scouting, what he did with the Dallas Cowboys. But stand by here. Let me play this clip from Gil Brandt on XM Sirius Radio here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Here we go.
Know the young man a little bit, but also from a scouting standpoint, you analyzed him over the years at Ohio State and coming into league with the Washington Commanders and then going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, it's a terrible tragedy, and what wanted your thoughts on that, and also on the player, because you did chronicle his career very closely.
Well, Dan, I hate anytime anybody is killed or anybody dies. But he was a guy that was living to be dead, so to speak. They told him, don't under any circumstances leave school early. You just don't have the work habits. You don't have this. You don't have that. What did he do? Left school early. I always can remember this. We invited players to the draft, and he was one of the players we invited to the draft. And we were told, no, we're going to have our own party. His own party was a party at the bowling alley, charged him $50 to get into the bowling alley for his party. It was always something, It's one of those things. I'm never offside, but they keep calling me for offside. Is what it is. So, it's a tragic thing. Anytime anybody dies, it's tragic. And especially when you're 24 years old and you got your whole life ahead of you. Maybe if he'd have stayed in school a year, he wouldn't do silly things. I mean, when you're jogging on a highway, on a road like that, that leaves it open because I tell you, guy has 2 drinks and he's just a little bit to the right side of the road and gets hit and killed. It's easy to happen.
Yeah. I want to just share this. This is
first and foremost, why in the world is he insinuating that there was some alcohol involved? I mean, it's so insensitive. Have we forgotten how to be human beings? I get it. We're looking for clicks and likes. And Brant even apologized this morning while learning of Dwayne Haskins' passing. I reacted carelessly and insensitively on the radio interview. I want to apologize to Mr. Haskins' family and anyone who heard my poor choice of words. I truly apologize. My heart goes out to this family at this difficult time. Adam Schefter had this to say. He tweeted this out. Listen to this. And we've lost the emotion of just being a human or being a good person. Someone died. Dwayne Haskins, a standout at Ohio State before struggling to catch on with Washington and Pittsburgh in the NFL, died this morning when he got hit by a car in South Florida, per his agent, Cedric Saunders. Haskins would have turned 25 years old on May 3rd. Here's what you say, Adam Schefter. Dwayne Haskins, a standout at Ohio State, died this morning when he got hit by a car in South Florida. That's it. Why are we as sports broadcasters or social media mavens so insensitive to the fact that a football player, an athlete, a young man died?
Peter, I know you saw what I tweeted out and put out on Facebook. Very simple. 24-year-old Dwayne Haskins was killed when hit by a car early morning. Terrible tragedy. End of story. Because that's all I knew. I didn't want to speculate. I didn't want to have any preconceived notions as to what happened. And again, Peter, we have a picture. Trace Crisp has a picture of the UCF quarterback who almost lost his life at the USF game, McKenzie, when he had a leg broken in about 3 different places. Trace sent me that picture. I said, Trace, we can't use that. He said, I know it. I just want to let you know I have it. And I said, good, save it, because you can't put that out. Could you imagine if we put up Rob Crete's injury? I'm like, right. There's some things you just don't do. And it's funny because I had a response from Theo Floyd on my Facebook page saying, hey, how about you let this play out till everybody finds out what actually happened before everybody jumps to conclusions. And again, that's it. Hey, the guy was out. We know he was out at 6:37. What he was doing out at 6:37, we'll never know until the toxicology report comes in, until the Florida Highway Patrol gives its report. We're looking at 30 to 90 days. So again, a terrible tragedy. And Peter, here comes a better one. We had him at the football camp, Sports International, I work at, for 2 summers.
Sad.
He came in. So we knew Dwayne Haskins.
And to me, look, I get it. He had his struggles in the National Football League, but he was working out. He was working his way on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what Schefter had to say. It was insensitive. It was a mistake. I can assure you it was not my intention. I wish I could have that tweet back. The focus should have been on Dwayne, who was as a person, a husband, a friend, and so much more. I wanted to apologize to Dwayne's family, his friends, the players in the NFL, and offer my condolences to everybody close to Dwayne. And in the way I felt Saturday, I wanted to turn the people's attention to make sure that Dwayne is remembered properly. Schefter, this is not his first time. What
Too
is
late.
he doing?
Too late.
Why is he doing this? Why does he continue to do this? Is he trying to get fired from ESPN? I mean, is it the sickness of trying to be first? Because I know I do a lot of breaking news, but before I do that breaking news, I give it at least 5 minutes and I look for 2 sources. And if I'm ready to run with it, with the Tom Brady tweet, I was like, that's a joke. I go to Tom Brady's account. That is Tom Brady. I'm running with it. Why don't journalists do that these days? Is the pressure so much there to get those clicks, likes, and clouts?
Must be, Peter, because I know we would never do it. Just and you know, we had a lot of stories we could have went with.
Right.
And you know, I shared one with you about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
But and I told Ira Kaufman about it because I said, Ira, I need you to know, because you know the people down there. I want you to know what we know and to tell them we're not going to print it. We're not going to go with it. And if it ever comes out, it's not us.
All right. I just think, you know, social media has made us so unsociable, and we have forgotten to just be good people at the end of the day. It's not always about your likes and followers. Damn, we just got to be human beings, and I'm on with one of the greatest human beings I know, the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, here on the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's talk about the Frank Vogel situation as he was fired. Of course, he had this to say when that report originated the night before. I haven't been told stuff. He didn't say stuff. I'm going to enjoy tonight's game, celebrate what these young guys did in terms of scratching and clawing and getting back into this game, getting a W. We'll deal with them tomorrow. He told reporters during his post-game media availability. Of course, Vogel went 127-98, just a couple years removed from a world championship in the COVID. I don't know what the heck that was called, the COVID championship or
the
what?
Bubble.
The bubble.
The bubble.
Rob Pelinka had this today. Today is not going to be a day of finger pointing and unwinding all the specific reasons. It is a day of finger pointing. You fired the coach. What are you talking about? Go ahead.
Peter, I tell you what, it's all coming out now that when the Lakers plane landed, he let everybody exit the plane, players, coaches, everybody. He was the last one off because he figured, okay, if Pelinka and Jeannie Buss are waiting for me on the tarmac, I want to be the last one out. They weren't. The fact, and again, Peter, this may be a lot of the Tom Brady retirement thing. Everybody in America knew what was going to happen, and somebody jumped the gun. They figured, hey, I might as well come out and say, hey, I have a source that says Frank Vogel is fired. Well, what the Lakers should have done immediately when that came out and says, we have not made a decision. Or they should have come out and said, and called Frank and said, hey, Frank, we made a decision. Come on in.
Right.
You know, because somebody wanted to embarrass them. Peter, what I don't understand, and I put this out as my daily memo, I know you saw it. Hey, the Lakers better figure out what the problem is, and I don't think it was the coach.
Well, we know what the problem is. The problem is LeBron James, because LeBron James wanted the biggest cancer in the National Basketball Association and Russell Westbrook. Magic Johnson just told you a week ago you could have had DeMar DeRozan, but instead LeBron, who's the GM and who's the coach and who's the almighty self-appointed king, decided to get his players, and oh, by the way, it blew up in his face. That is why LeBron James is not the greatest of all time, period. Go ahead.
Peter, I think they're going to have trouble getting a new head coach because, one, it's going to cost them through the nose financially. Because if I'm going in there, I'm going to want stupid cash because I know as soon as LeBron and I go south, he's going to whine to management, and I'm going to be fired. And again, that's the problem in the NBA. The players are running the show. Ownership needs to go to players. Hey, shut up and dribble because that's your job. The coaches coach, the players play. And again, when the player has that much power, and again, I think that the Lakers need to look at. Everybody said, well, Russell Westbrook was a cancer. Well, guess what? Russell Westbrook was on the floor. Anthony Davis wasn't.
Right.
LeBron James wasn't. And they're not going to get any better. They're just getting a year older. So again, the Lakers got what they deserved. They couldn't defend, and they couldn't get on the floor. Your biggest availability is your dependability.
Agree.
And they had no dependability.
But look, we know when Russell Westbrook was picked up, he couldn't shoot. The biggest problem for the Lakers was the perimeter game. They didn't address it. They lost key players. They've lost key players throughout the process, young assets. And this is what Westbrook had to say, top to bottom, I'm coming to LA. I just felt like I was never given a fair chance to be who I needed to be to help this team. Also goes on to say, LeBron and AD said many times throughout the year, let Russ be Russ. Russell Westbrook immediately responds, yeah, but that wasn't true. Let's be honest. And then Russell Westbrook goes on with his relationship with Frank Vogel. I'm not sure what his issue was with me. He also goes on to say he's got a player option. But by the way, that player option is $47 million. Good luck with anybody picking that up. Let me read this comment from Ben Cornett here. Ownership and front office of the Lakers is a laughingstock. GM LeBron influences Pelinka, Jenny Buss, and Rambis. Sad to be a Lakers fan right now. I got the coach who's going to be the next coach of the LA Lakers. You ready? Rob Pelinka.
Magic Johnson.
Nope. Rob Pelinka is from where? What college did he go to? Michigan. Juwan Howard.
I don't think Juwan would take the job.
I think he would, and I'll tell you why. Because he knows LeBron James. LeBron will sell it. Juwan Howard will say, you know what? The situation at Michigan didn't work out. Howard's going to be your next coach. I bet it. I'll go to Vegas and bet on it. I would.
You know what, Peter? It sounds legitimate, and you've done your homework. It's great. I just don't think. I don't think Juwan wants that kind of headache. And again, it's a headache. But I'll tell you one thing: the coach will look LeBron right in the eye if it's Juwan, and believe me, he'll look him right in the eye and say, "Hey, sit down, pal. You're having a bad night."
Right. And it's not going to be like, Tyronn Lue situation. But I just wonder when it gets to that point, if LeBron grabs Juwan, does he? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. We're on with Leo Haggerty.
Don't start.
33 and 49, just so disappointing. And I get it. It's not all LeBron, but you have to have some constraints at this point. And I always say this, super teams don't work out because at the end of the day, it's about role players, about those role players. People talk about the great Chicago Bulls teams. The first three-peat, you had a guy like a Horace Grant, a Bill Cartwright, players like that, and they don't get enough pub, but they were so important to the process. And then you talk about the other three-peat with the Dennis Rodman and a Luke Longley and even a Tony Kukoc. Those players are not talked about.
Trent Tucker.
Right. I mean, Rod Harper. Those are the players. Those are the glue that make the team. Yes, you can have the superstars all day long, but if you don't have the role players in this day and age in the NBA, I don't care what it is, you won't win many games. You just won't.
Peter, 3 words. If you're going to be an NBA coach, you got to tell players, know your role. What are you supposed to do? And, give Phil Jackson a lot of credit. It's not easy coaching talent, but he had everybody, this is your role. This is what we want you to do. Well, that's the problem with the Lakers. They didn't have that. They didn't. And again, Frank Vogel's hands were tied by the way they constructed that roster.
Right.
It's not that they couldn't play defense. They didn't want to play defense.
Sure.
And I mean, you had some strange combinations in there with, just some aging veterans that I guess LeBron, and again, think about this. LeBron wanted Russell Westbrook as opposed to DeRozan.
Right.
Obviously, you don't want him as the GM.
Right.
Because he can't tell talent.
It makes no sense at all. And Ben Cornett says, sorry, Leo, Juwan would give it in to LeBron any coach that comes into this organization will eventually cater to LeBron at some point. There's talk of Nick
And
Nurse.
that's why Juwan won't come in. He won't cater.
Well, here's the thing. If you're an NBA coach right now, do you really want the Lakers job? I mean, I guess no. So there you go. You got Juwan Howard. He's a college coach. He's trying to prove himself. And if he wins a championship, then he's the greatest of all time. If he doesn't, who cares? He just was a college coach that didn't work out again in the NBA.
That's Juwan is where he wants to be. Again, he's where he wants to be. He's at Michigan.
Okay.
He graduated there. He was with the Fab Five. He was the first of the Fab Five to commit. And again, why do I know this? Brian Dutcher and I are very good friends. He was the assistant coach. Steve Fisher and I are very good friends. He's the head coach at Michigan. And they committed, all 5 of them. But Juwan was the first. Juwan was the glue that held that crew together.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think I'll tell you what, if he goes out there, Peter, I want to know what the salary is, because I'm guaranteeing you it's got to be $4 to $5 million a year.
And they'll be able to pay it. They'll pay it because they're desperate at this point, and they think that he'll solidify everything and be a voice of reason. But at the end of the day, if LeBron is running your organization, you have no power at that point.
And that's the problem, Peter.
Right.
They got to run this by LeBron. The fact that you got to run it by a player is mind-boggling.
Well,
can you imagine? And that's the problem we're seeing with the Bucks.
Sure.
Did they run it by Tom Brady that they were going to hire Todd Bowles? I mean, just the thought of that is mind-boggling. That you got to run it by a player.
Well, look, I think, Tom Brady is a little bit different because he's been very successful almost everywhere. And I'm not saying LeBron hasn't been successful, but I'm not necessarily thinking he's picking players out all the time. Like, I think he has some say in it, but I don't think it's like, okay, if you don't get this player, I'm going to get the coach fired. I don't think he's a coach killer. That's what I mean.
Who, LeBron?
Yeah. No, LeBron's a coach killer. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is not. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
All right. LA bitch James says Roger.
Ouch.
Roger said he gets shy, nervous when a girl talks to him at work. Let's see. LeBron isn't the GOAT at all. I don't know what Troy was.
Never was.
One more time and I'll block you. All right. No blocking. Behave, troll boy. Troy says, acknowledge your master, Troy. Roger again. I acknowledge myself as the tribal troll. Exactly, Leo. And let's go out to Rick here. Leo will do it for, what did you say? What's that, 15? Is that 15,000 or 15 million?
No, that's 150 grand. No.
You want 150 grand?
Seven figures minimum. And I'll have to stand on a chair to talk to LeBron, but I'll sit him down.
How do you change that situation? Because here's the thing, and I get it. We usually never talk NBA on the show, but the Lakers are compelling conversation here on the Evolution. So I'm sorry if you don't like it, change the subject. But you got LeBron James. You got Anthony Davis, who, look, let's face it, if he trips on a banana peel, he's going to get hurt. If he gets out of bed, you're scared that he'll pull a hamstring. What do you do with this situation at this point?
Peter, here's the problem. The Lakers won a championship with that crew because they were in the bubble. They were walking distance from their hotel to the arena. Okay? So the chances of somebody getting hurt were really minuscule. Another SAT word.
Very nice.
Because they were all together. Now they're in LA. They're back in Tinseltown. And there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things. And again, John Cooper talked about it the other night. He said, hey, we got these guys 2 hours a day. The other 21, 22 hours that they have, we don't have them. So it takes a while for these guys to commit. I mean, all of a sudden you have Carmelo Anthony coming in. You have Russell Westbrook coming in. Again, they didn't need offense. They needed defense, and they lost all their wing defenders. And I think Frank Vogel saw the handwriting on the wall probably 2 months into the season where they can't get above 7th. And that meant for a quick exit.
They're a bunch of selfish players that are all about isolation basketball, and it doesn't work. Team basketball, again, works, and you have to shoot threes. And if you're not shooting from the outside, it's not going to work. On with Leo Haggerty, the legend himself. Really quick here, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they beat Buffalo last night 5-0. What are your concerns? 10 more games left. Can they get this together? Are they bored? Because I keep on getting asked around town on Facebook, what's wrong with the Lightning? I say, just calm down. But, is there cause for concern here, Leo Haggerty?
Peter, as Aaron Rodgers said, relax.
Okay.
This team knows what it has to do in the playoffs. And again, I know I'm going to sound like an echo JP Peterson, but we've talked about this so often. I think they are bored because they just want to get the regular season over. They know they're in the playoffs. They don't care who they're playing in the playoffs. They just want to get the regular season over. Cooper said last night, look for Elliott to play 4 games. Well, that's 6 for Vasilevsky, 4 for Elliott. Great. Boom.
Right.
He'll be rested. And again, Peter, everybody talks about what's wrong with the Lightning, what's wrong with the Lightning. Tell me what of the other 7 teams in the Eastern Division want to say, hey, I want to play the Lightning.
Right.
Ain't one of them. Nobody wants a piece of the Lightning right now because they know what it takes. You got to win 4 games. Can you see anybody beating Vasilevsky 4 times? I can't.
I can't. No.
Again, when we go back, everybody says, we'll go back to Columbus. Okay, great. Let's go back to Columbus.
Sure.
What was the big thing that very few people bring up? An injured Victor Hedman.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to play the first 2 games, and he couldn't even stop guys coming into the middle. And the first rule of the Lightning process is keep the puck to the boards. Don't let it get to the middle. And people from the Blue Jackets just skated down the middle of Victor Hedman. In fact, he didn't play the last 2 games because he was that banged up. Well, guess what? They're healthy now. And they got Ryan McDonough back against Buffalo, and look what that meant. I mean, he solidifies that back line, that blue line, and that's – I'll tell you what, all 4 lines scored, Peter, against Buffalo, and they all scored in 5-on-5 even strength situations. They're coming.
They're definitely coming, and Cooper mentioned it last night. It's about not taking penalties. The Lightning did a good job. I get it. It's Buffalo, but it's still a team that wants to knock you off. So, again, you got to stay out of the box. You also got to score goals, even strength here. Good stuff, Leo Haggerty. Go ahead. I'll say this with Amped Up Sports. The great thing about being a part of this, and I think, once again, the future is bright, but we're credentialed media. I don't know if you paid attention to the Sports Web and Amped Up Sports. Going out to USF, there's more of that coming. I mean, let's talk about that for a little bit, and then I'll get you out of here. Your final thoughts on that game on Saturday night. A lot of excitement.
Peter, yeah. And Peter, let's be honest. When this program turns it around, and it will turn it around, Jeff Scott walked into a nightmare. COVID showed up his first year. Peter, there were times he couldn't even practice. He didn't have enough players.
Right.
And it was just like he's having to use starters to practice offense and defense. And you could see by the end of the year, he would look like a beat dog.
Sure.
And again, Peter, I asked him point blank, what's the difference now between the beginning? Are you close to normal?
Yeah.
And he said, what do you mean by normal? I said, pre-COVID. He said, now we got depth.
Yes.
And that's the key. And, shout out to Brian Segrist. He gives us access, unfeathered access to people. We're going to do our pregame and our postgame out there. If the computer will.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I was ready to throw this computer out
the picture said 1,000 words. The two of us were saying 2 words, and it wasn't a happy birthday or Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, we're at Raymond James on Saturday for USF. Who knows? Maybe we show up on Sundays there at Raymond James Stadium for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just saying, that is the goal. That is the play here on Amped Up Sports. Leo Haggerty, thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, live on I Love St. Pete, the Hub, and, of course, Amped Up Sports.
Yep, and all we got to do is get the Rays on board now, Peter, and we'll have the 4-bagger of credentials, right?
Sounds good, my friend. Let's do it. Good stuff as always. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Sports Web, my friend. All right?
Take care. And, hey, everybody, check out Amped Up Sports.
There you go. Amped Up Sports. We're amped up here on a Monday night. talking everything from your Tampa Bay Buccaneers to insensitive remarks by reporters trying to jump the shark, to the Tampa Bay Lightning, to the Tampa Bay Rays. What do you want? What do you want? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I mean, what do you want to talk about? If that's what you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. I watched a little bit of the Masters. Congratulations to Scheffler, even though it wasn't Tiger Woods. Congratulations. Did I watch it all? No, I'm not a golf fan. But it's compelling storylines. It is absolutely a compelling storyline. Again, congratulations to Scotty Scheffler on the Masters, a tradition like no other. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a quick break here on the evolution of sports talk television. And when we come back, it is Mock Draft Monday. We'll talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and take your phone calls here on the Sports Web Live on I Love St. Pete, the Hub, and Amped Up Sports. Keep it locked.
Hey, Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
All right, welcome back to the Evolution. Let's go out to Mr. Williams. Welcome back to the Sports Web. What's going on? What do you have to say about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Hey, man, like I say, I mean, we got a lot of big names that then came back. You know, Brock, he's going to wait it out. Hey, I don't blame him. Man,
Are you worried?
Sit down.
I mean, you're not worried at all. Because he's come out and said, he's come out, Mr. Williams, and all these rumors out there that were thrown out, and I get it. Once again, you got to get clicks. You got to be the first guy to put out a story. The Buffalo Bills were on that list, possibly the Cincinnati Bengals, but he has made it abundantly clear that if he comes back in 2022, it's going to be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So rest assured, Bucs fans, he's coming back.
Like he said when his friend, his brother, retired, he said, why go out? If we going to go out, let's go out on top.
What? Yes. I mean, what is so bad about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Can somebody explain this to me? I mean, you go outside sometimes, it's 90 degrees, it feels like 100, but there are days like today. You have an organization that's committed. You have an organization that is going all in to spend money. You have talent all over the place. It's not like the cupboard is bare at this point, right?
Well, yeah, because I take my hat off to Jason Wright. Man, you did good.
Yes.
But no, right. I don't know what the hold up on Jason Pierre-Paul, man. I hope they can find some kind of money for him, man.
Well,
I'll bring him back for one more time.
I love JPP, but I think they're looking to Joe Tryon Shayenka. And they may address the position, but they're happy with it. I don't know. Maybe they signed him at a reduced deal. You know, the legend himself, Leo Haggerty, mentioned this a couple months ago. The Bucs are trying to find out what his market is. Maybe his market isn't that good. He comes back on a reduced deal. I would not be surprised. But he was hurt. He was hurt last year, and he didn't play up to what he usually does.
Yeah, that's true. And I hope that they hurry up and get some with Sue, because 93 and 50, that is a dynamic duo on that front line. 93 and 50 is a dynamic duo on that front line, and that's Sue and Vita Vea.
Okay. I agree with you. I agree.
Them two guys right there is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And that's you know, that's a team that, you know, all right, give him let him come back again. Let Sue come back again. Because you know, I understand, you know, he's at home, and 9 times out of 3 million, he is training to put back on that uniform. You know, like I say, and with number 87, I'm not even worried. because long as number 12 right there, he's coming back. But he don't want to come to OTAs or no mini camps. But that first game, he's gonna be ready.
Well, and
Week
he's
one.
got to be ready. They got to be
Yeah.
ready. They got to be ready to stop the run because this defense has to improve. And there's a bad
Yeah.
taste in their mouth from
Yeah.
the Rams loss last year. And Todd
Yeah,
Bowles is the
yeah.
coach. So
Yeah, man. My headache still ain't stopped hurting. Yeah, right. And right also, Chris Godwin, amen.
Right.
Kudos, amen. We all hope you hurry up and come on back, and we hope you be back to 100%. And you and Mike Evans, let's go and let's own the wide receiver core like y'all did for the past couple of years. Everybody get over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
And I have always called Chris Mr. Penn State because he was always there. Scotty Miller, I hope he get a chance to get into the offense.
Well, I mean, and he's got to do a better job of staying healthy at the end of the day. And you got Tyler Johnson, who also, has to step up. And we'll see if the Bucs address that situation in the draft because they very well may get a wide receiver. They may go out and get a Traylon Burks out of Arkansas. They may go out and get a Dotson from Penn State, somebody like that, or maybe a Chris Olave from Ohio State.
Because to me, Mike Evans is like may God rest his soul, A. Vincent Jackson, because Vincent raised Mike and Mike raising Chris.
Sure, and I think that's a good thing to have, and you're exactly right.
Yes, because at the end of the day, if Mike take off his cleats and say, "This is it," he's going straight into the Hall of Fame, hands down.
Sure.
Hands down, and he want to lead, and he's leading Chris in the right direction, and that's what's good because it's a lot of guys helped out on this team to bring these young men back because they know we can't depart yet.
Right.
We can't depart yet, and Levante Davis, man, you're doing a good job. Devin White, man, love you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Got to play better than he did last year. That's for sure. That's
yeah.
For sure. But
yeah, man.
Go ahead.
The defense, we got a couple of pieces,
right?
Which is cool. The guy we got from the Giants, 4 year, a 4-time Super Bowl winning champion.
Right.
Okay, we love that.
Right.
And we just picked up this guy from the Cowboys that played with Dallas, but he got drafted.
Do you
by
like
the
that
Falcons.
move, Keanu Neal? Because I tell you now, he's got potential. He's got to stay healthy, but he's a hard-hitting safety. He's relatively young, 26 years old. Former first-round pick. I think they've done an outstanding job in that back end. And look, you lose the Jordan Whitehead, but you replace them with the Neal, with the Logan Ryan. You still have an Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean, to me, they've improved that back end tremendously, in my opinion.
Because my secondary, we needed help.
Yeah.
We needed help.
Yeah.
And the young man that came, Rush. He's a good receiver.
Right.
Mr. Rush is a good receiver.
Right.
Because he used to hurt me with the 125, 150 yards a game when he was in the other uniform. But now he ain't in that uniform no more. He over here, he's getting a ring, man. But no, right, man. Hands down, man. We going back, man. And then what's so good about it, we get to start off with the Rams.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if what the schedule is because it hasn't been revealed yet. But it's a tougher schedule. It's definitely a tougher schedule. And
2022. We start off with the New York with the Rams.
I didn't know
we played. Yeah, we played Matthew Stafford that first game. Man, look it up.
You think so? I haven't heard that yet, Mr. Williams.
Yeah,
I've not heard that.
Yeah, right. Look it up.
Okay.
You get a chance. Look it up. Call me back. You know what I'm saying? Before you get off the air.
Okay.
Because I know we got to go to Dallas too. See, we got to fly out to Dallas this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, we got to fly out to Dallas and we play the Denver Broncos. Yeah, man. We don't got nothing easy this year. We don't got nothing easy this year, and I just hope, you know what I'm saying, that my boys stay healthy, man, and we all just go ahead on and just go on this run, and let's get this third Bill of Body trophy. Hey, Todd Bowles, man, hey, you here for the next 5 years.
Right.
This is your team.
Mm.
And hey, man, let's show them that you know, hey, we can bring this home, and right after the end of the season, if Tommy are walking away, let's bring that draft pick from the Gators. Let's get in some work, and let's keep the team building on, you know, and let's put the team in his hands.
Well, we'll see.
Because I like the young man.
Well, look, you don't want to ever go to a Kyle Trask at this point. You don't want any starts. Will he get some more snaps in preseason?
Nah, right. Preseason, yeah.
Right.
But no, I'm saying after number 12, go ahead on and go home and not even turn around. Then I say, you know, let's work with him.
Sure.
But right now, give him all the preseason reps he needs. That there ain't doing nothing but just getting the ship hot for when you got to get out there on a Sunday at 1:00.
I like it, Mr. Williams. Thanks a lot.
All right, man. I love you guys, man.
Love you too, brother. Let me give you the wheel. Appreciate the
Yes,
call,
sir.
as always, my friend. Thank you very much for it. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Gage is a huge signing. Let me go ahead and do this really quick. Hold on a sec. There we go. All right. Just somebody coming on here and trying to troll me, but you're not going to do it because it's no fun with you at all. With that being said, it is Mock Draft Monday, so let's go down the list here. NFL Network's Peter Schrager of NFL.com says Kyler Gordon. He says the Bucs went with Washington defender Joe Tryon-Shoyinka in the first round last year. Running back here, Gordon is a former competitive dancer. Okay. Who uses his martial arts background for preparation on the field. He has a lot of fans around the league and may end up hearing his name called before the more heralded teammate Trent McDuffie. We've heard about McDuffie before, so that's a surprise. I'm not sure if they go with corner because of going back to Jason Light's comments at the Combine with saying there's more depth in the later rounds. So I'm not sure if they go first-round corner, but that's Schrager's thought. Let me go out to Rob Thompson here really quick. Awesome show. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Let's go out to CBS Sports' Jordan Dajani, and they say Zion Johnson, the guard from Boston College. The Bucs are probably could go many different directions here, but the draft a guard to replace the other of the two they lost this offseason. The problem with that is you re-sign an Aaron Stinney. You also have a Robert Hansey from Notre Dame last year, and I think they envisioned him maybe possibly as a center. They're going to try to switch him to guard. I certainly don't think guard is a situation where they address at 27, but who knows, right? Best player on the board. Let's go out to Ryan Wilson of CBS Sports. He says safety Daxton Hill of Michigan. Hill is a part of the Wolverines defense that could end up seeing 3 players go in the round 1 next spring. He's underrated nationally, but watch him play and it becomes clear pretty quickly that he's in the running for one of the best defensive backs in this class. He's listed as a safety, but can line up anywhere. Versatile guy, I get it, but they have addressed that safety situation. And I'm telling you right now, I think they still end up with signing a Tyrann Mathieu. We shall see. Pro Football Network's Ian Cummings says tight end Trey McBride, Colorado State. Rarely this cycle has a tight end gone in round 1 of mock drafts, but if any tight end is going to sneak into the first round conversation, it's Colorado State's Trey McBride. McBride has run away with the tight end 1 mantle with the same speed he mustered at his pro day, 4.56 40-yard dash. McBride has the necessary athleticism. He's also tough and sure-handed with contact, and he could be a steady threat up the middle on the field at day one. I think there's still a lot of draft analysts out there that anticipate Rob Gronkowski moving on. I'm not one of them, but could the Bucs get a tight end in this draft? Absolutely, they could, because they're what they like right now. They're not only athletic and catch the ball, but also can block consistently. Colin Hayboom of SI.com says Travis Jones, defensive tackle, Connecticut. Travis Jones has the size, power, athleticism to be a forceful disruptor in the National Football League. His stock has risen as much as any prospect throughout the pre-draft process. His rise began with a standout performance in Mobile, Alabama at the Reese's Super Bowl, where Jones went out of his way to make life extremely difficult on a number of accomplished interior offensive linemen. He followed up his dominant Senior Bowl performance with an even more impressive display at the NFL Combine, where Jones clocked a 4.92 40-yard dash time, 7.333 cone, and 1.10 broad jump in terms of athletic testing for his position. These scores rank him 48th out of 1,325 of defensive tackle prospects evaluated at the Combine between 87 and 2022. Once again, to update what the Bucs have pick-wise, because there's been some comp picks the last couple of days. Round 1, pick 27. That's where they pick first round. Round 2, that would be the 60th overall selection, pick 28. Round 3, 91st overall. Round 4, 133rd overall. Round 7, 248th. And another comp pick here, 261st overall right there. So that's it for your Mock Draft Monday here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks to all our guests, Mr. J.P. Peterson of the J.P. Peterson Show, FanStream Sports. Tune in every day from 10 to 12 live on Facebook and YouTube. And, of course, the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty. We'll be back on Wednesday night with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News, Harry the Greek, and other guests and the luminaries here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Like and follow the Hub. Like and follow, of course, I Love St. Pete and Amped Up Sports and the Sports Web on YouTube. And do 3 things for me on this Monday night as we wrap up the show. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Have a great night.
Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.